So good morning, everyone. Yes, we'll start. Great to see you all. Great to start the week together with all of you. So this session actually is going to be dedicated for the mentors. Who are the mentors? How do you search for a mentor? How you manage your relationship with a mentor? What can you do if something goes wrong? And in case of any issues, I'll explain everything. Regarding questions, you can ask me during the lecture. You don't have to wait until the end. When I share my screen, so I usually don't see the screens of the participants, so you can just say, Isabella, I have a question, or type it in the chat. I'm checking the chat as well and answering the questions as we go. And of course, you can always ask me questions after the session if you don't feel comfortable now, or you had questions only when the session is over. So we'll start. I will be using a presentation, and I will be switching to Gvahim network at some point, using my profile as an example, just to show you where every button is located. You have the same profiles, you have the same buttons, so it really allows us to have a demonstration. So I'll start with the presentation. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so first I would like to speak about the mentors themselves. Maybe you heard about them. Maybe it's the first time you hear that you can have a mentor during the program. But mentor is something that we provide for each participant, if needed, of course, if you feel that you need it. So I want to explain who are the mentors, so it would be clear. So first of all, the mentors are volunteers. It's important to understand why, because they actually have a daytime job. Usually, they have maybe other occupations, but they volunteer their time to join some of the sessions at Gvahim. Some of the speakers, interview simulation mentors, and HR panel participants are mentors, volunteers, and some of them are only available for one-on-one mentorship, which is more relevant here in our case, but they're volunteers. And what it means that sometimes they can be occupied. It's not their job to be mentors, so they do it out of their kindness, in their free time, and we also need to respect that and be considerate if they have a big project at work or something else that is happening and they're temporarily unavailable, then it's okay if you can wait, or they'll explain the situation and you can move on and find another mentor. But it's important to understand, we are not paying them. They cannot ask you for a payment for the consultations, and they provide all the advice, support, and assistance for free, of course, as volunteers. The second characteristics of the mentors is that they're professionals. So we have introduction meetings, trainings for the mentors, sometimes dedicated events only for the mentors to help them become better mentors. But they're also professional in their own industry, in their own profession, meaning they have enough experience to also help you. It's not someone who just got a job as a product manager, it's someone who has 10 years plus in this position. So they've been interviewed, they searched for a job as product managers, just an example. They know how the industry works, what is expected from product managers in Israel, and they can give you really like the local point of view. So they're professionals. And if we feel that someone approaching us is not qualified enough, it's okay. We can have him as a volunteer in general, and etc. We also have volunteers who are not mentors. I'll mention them when we switch to the Gvahim network. So it's important to know the background of the mentors. And of course, they primarily dedicate to help for LIM. So they know that you're new immigrants. They won't have unrealistic expectations from you. They won't tell you that you, for some positions, you need to have Hebrew, or they won't be able to help. They understand that you're a LIM, you just came, you're learning the language, and from this perspective, they can tell you how you can look for a job, okay? Knowing all your background as well. So that's a few characteristics. And of course, we have mentors from many industries. From some industries, we're missing mentors, and I'm aware. And if that's your industries, of course, you contact me because you won't find the mentors online. Usually when introduction meetings for participants are held, the team also knows how to adjust the demand and the supply of the mentors. So they'll tell you in advance if we don't have enough mentors in a specific area. But we are working on it, expanding the pool of the mentors. And this is one of the cases when something can go wrong and you contact me and we think together how can we solve this issue. But I'll speak about it at the end. So the mentor role, of course, now that you know who the mentor is, you might think, so, okay, how the mentor can help me? And it's, of course, a relevant question. So we'll dive into that. This list, of course, is list that we prepared, but the mentor can help with other areas, everything related to the job search, maybe like the career area, but it's not limited to what we suggested here. For example, a mentor can help you with mapping the market and providing industry knowledge. As I said, it's someone who has this knowledge. Maybe you just arrived, maybe you're trying to find your own professional path as a specific professional, but they already know because they spent enough years in the same industry, so they can tell you about the companies in this industry, the expectations, where you should start. If you should start with a small company or apply straight from the beginning to the big company corporations. Maybe you need to complete something like a course or a specific knowledge that is needed in this industry. Maybe you're lacking it because in your own country people didn't use it, but here in Israel they do. Or what's the newest technologies, what's outdated, and etc. So they have this industry knowledge. Okay? They can also help you with building the job search strategy, meaning what are your next steps? Okay, so you got a lot of tools. Let's think about it. You at the end of the program, you got a lot of tools from the GCC program. You know how to search for a job, but now you actually need to do it for your own profession, and they could help you with building the strategy. Again, with what companies to start, which websites to visit, which groups to join, where positions are posted, how to get the right connections. And one of the sections here, number 4, is helping you build this professional network, sharing their own contacts if they feel comfortable, of course, or advising you who to follow to get also insights and understanding of your industry. In every industry, you have like thought leaders that you can follow on LinkedIn, for example, other social media, and get more understanding of your industry. They can also help you, number 3, they can also help you with professional interviews. Some of you participated in interview simulations during the program, but maybe not all of you. And here it's going to be, of course, one-on-one, and especially when you know that the interview is coming. For example, you started a mentorship relationship, you got invited for an interview, immediately you can call your mentor and ask for help, tell about the company, the role, and ask if he or she can help you prepare for specific interview for the specific company, of course, and think what kinds of questions you might be asked. Number 5, of course, giving you the Israeli point of view. I mentioned it. They have this knowledge, okay? Maybe they're Olim Vatikim themselves, meaning they made Aliyah at some point, but they already have enough local experience to share about the job culture and how it goes in the companies, again, in small companies and big companies. So the Israeli point of view, maybe it's not possible to get this view from any other source until you actually start working at the company. And of course, you want to come prepared as much as possible. And of course, what else? As I said, this list is not limited to only these parameters. You can ask questions. The mentors expect you to be proactive. and initiate and ask questions. You're coming with the questions, they're coming with the advice and answers as much as they can. And the more questions you ask, the more it shows that you appreciate the mentorship and the more you're serious for this in this process of mentorship and job search in general. So before we move to the matching time, I also wanted to mention that the mentors are not. Okay, so just to avoid confusions, misunderstandings. So the mentors are not career advisors unless your mentor is a career advisor, HR consultant, recruiter, and etc. Because we also have people from those professions, and their mentors are going to be, of course, from those professions. But the mentor, just think about it, he's an engineer, a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer. So they're not professional HR consultants, career advisors. It would be difficult for them to help you with questions like, which path should I take? I have two directions, and I'm deliberating now which way to choose. One, of course, is your profession, and the other is another profession that I can also have and pursue. So the mentor, it would be a little bit hard for him to help. Just think, they're professionals in their own field. They deal with documents, numbers, or people, sales all day, not with career choices. So for that, you have the career consultants of Gvahim. Why you usually come to the timing of the matching at the end of the program, because then you already formed your strategy, maybe an opinion, and you know in which profession you're going to look for a job. If you have two directions, you can choose two mentors. By the way, each one is entitled for one mentor. But if you have two directions, you can choose two. I can tell you in advance, it's difficult to choose and manage relationships with two mentors at the same time. So maybe you can focus in advance, of course. Don't throw all these thoughts and concerns on the mentor. Come to him prepared and use your time effectively with the mentor. And of course, they can look at your CV, they can look at your LinkedIn, maybe give some more advice. Maybe you can look at their LinkedIn, their CV, compare and change your own documents. But of course, it's going to be a subjective opinion. It's not something that they do in general. Okay, just think maybe they look for a job 3-4 times during their career. So it's not something that they do daily, like Gvahim staff and Gvahim HR consultants. Okay, of course you do it daily because you need to always customize your CV and change your LinkedIn. But you can only get an opinion, and if it's different from the HR consultant's opinion, you should choose with which opinion you should go. But again, don't expect the mentor to be HR consultant. And the timing, as I said, it's at the end of the program, when your CV is ready or you have a good CV to share immediately. Maybe even at the first mentor meeting, he would already ask you to share the CV for a certain position, so you need to be ready. The LinkedIn needs to be presentable. You need to have all the knowledge, understand positions, share the positions with the mentor. Again, that's something that you ask his opinion about. So it could be only relevant at the end of the program. If someone at the beginning will contact the mentor, it's a waste of time of mentor and you as a participant, because things will change. Okay, so that's the matching timing. And the matching place, as I mentioned, is the Gvahim network. And now we're going to switch to the Gvahim network and check how we search for mentors, how we choose the mentors, how we contact them, and what can we learn from their profiles. And since you're all on the Gvahim network, then I know that you had the chance to check it, explore it. So I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to focus on the mentorship part and maybe some parts of networking, because it comes together, but still different. Okay, so that's the Gvahim network. How do you search for mentor? For example, you log in, How do you start? Okay, you have all the sections, all these menus. So there's two ways to look for a mentor. Both ways include using filters, because filters help you narrow down the choice and the amount of mentors. We have almost 3,600 members of the community, and of course, you can check them all, and that's how you're going to look for a mentor. Of course, that's not the way. You'll use filters that I'll show. So one way is to start with the one-on-one support. If you see on the menu on the left, that's the third option, and it has a small arrow. You click on it and click on Find a Mentor Buddy. Important remark, I promised to address the volunteers on the platform. In the past, we also allowed volunteers, not mentors, to join the program, and we gave them a special title, buddies. And you'll see this name buddy or a Gmate in a few other searches, but I don't want you to become confused. They're not mentors. They could be good connections, people you can contact and they expect you to contact them, but they're not mentors. So buddies are graduates of the program from, of course, years ago, who wanted to help new participants. And we had like a special program dedicated for that. Like we have the mentorship program, we also had the buddies program. And of course they joined because people needed to have access to them. We can't keep them just on our computers. So the buddies can be helpful. If you find someone working in a specific company, he's a buddy, you still can contact him and ask again to recommend you, hand over your CV to the HR, etc. Or just ask him general questions. But again, remember, buddies are not mentors, and I'll show you on another section how to filter even the buddies out. Okay. So we have this section, the one-on-one support, find the mentor a buddy, and it includes a few filters. So first of all, one of them is searching geographically by area. That's relevant for someone who wants to see maybe which mentors we have. If you live in not in Tel Aviv, but in a remote area like the north, and the south, and you want to see the mentors and community members located next to you, so you can use this filter. And of course, here you can see all and start this process. I'm not going to show it, but if it's relevant, of course, you can do it by yourself after we finish. Another search comes, if you remember when you built the profile, you also had to mention your job function and industry as much as you know it. So the same thing do the mentors when they create a new profile. It needs to feature on every profile. So if it features, meaning it's a good filter for our purposes. So the platform shows here a few examples of job functions, but the list, of course, is much longer, and you can choose from these job functions, but they're very broad. Like marketing is very, very broad. Maybe you need to narrow it down, like SEO, for example. Or I don't know, PPC. But in general, that's the filters. And of course, you can search more job functions. I'll show you also on another place where you can see the job function and sort by it. What's important to remember is to use one filter each time. Don't apply too much filters because it will just mess with the results and you won't find people. So only use each time one filter. From here or from the second section that I'll show. You also can search by company, as I said. Maybe the company is more relevant for you and not the profession. Maybe it's you're not looking for a mentor, you're looking for connections. So you can search by company, search by, I don't know, Google, Intel, Microsoft, other names of companies. And if we have mentors there, then of course it will show up in the result. If it doesn't show up, it means we don't have mentors from those companies. Maybe we have alumni. So here, when you search by company, you shouldn't limit it to mentors only, okay? Because alumni could be also a good connection to a company. Here you can also see the industry. So the job function is not exactly like the industry. For example, I can be a lawyer in a fintech company, okay? So my job function will be a lawyer, but my industry will be fintech, financial technologies, and etc. So that could be another good filter. For example, for HR, it's the same. You have a HR job function and HR industry. But again, you can search again using job function once, having the list of people, writing them down, and then doing a reset to your search and using the industry section to search for new and more relevant results. Because sometimes people build their own profile, and sometimes they don't apply the right filters. For example, if the company is all about gaming, or the company is a legal company, but their profession is accountant, they might add legal and legal in both sections. So that would confuse you. So that's why I'm saying always use one filter each time. Or you can go straight to another section here by clicking find your own mentor body. And if you click on it, it takes you to directory, which is the second way to look for people. One second, I'll do a reset to my search. And here you can apply filters and also free text and keywords. So directory right now is pointed at all, meaning all users, and it's, like I said, almost 3,600 users from all kinds. Of course, the search will not be effective. Even if you want to use keywords, you still need to use filters from here. See? My location, industry, mentors, bodies. Okay. For example, you want to use, I don't know, dietitian or a mechanical engineer as your keyword here in the search. So first, you need to go to the mentors bodies section, because if you type in all mechanical engineer, it will show you also the alumni, all the people we have from this profession, and you're searching for a mentor right now. So you're going to mentor bodies. For example, you want to filter the bodies out. You only want to see the mentors. You go here to the filter by affiliation. And from all affiliations, you choose mentor only. And voila, the number of the mentors reduced. So that's only mentors, okay? So that's how you start your search, and then you click and type the keywords. For example, engineer. Just an example. 61 results. So you need to specify electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, software engineer, and etc. Okay. Because 61 results is, again, it's a lot of results to go through, and it's best to be a little bit more specific. Okay, use every time new keywords. For example, you finish with the search, you want to use another keyword, you go to the here at the bottom, you see reset, click on reset, and it starts over. Again, you see all the members, you go to mentors, you go to mentor affiliation, mentor, and once you see this number, you know you at the right place. And now you type another electrical engineer, okay? Because that's what's relevant for you. 6 results, great. You compare, is it the same names, new names, and etc. The keywords come from the profiles and texts that we have inside the profiles of the mentors, okay? Or if you do a general search, every user, okay? So that's how you use the free search. For example, okay, I'll do a reset. And again, I'll choose the mentor affiliation. To show you another filter, as I said, you also have the job function and industry, it is located in work experience. Don't worry if you don't remember it right now. Just go over all the filters. Once you see it, you'll know that's the right filter. Click on it. Here it go. Company, industry, job function, profession. Besides the company, the industry and job function are closed lists, meaning you can't add more industries. You can only choose from those available. I think that the mentors also didn't need to do the same exercise. So maybe they also chose something that is close to them, but not exactly the same, because the list is closed. Okay. Example, you choose consumer goods, and it shows you the mentors who have this. For example, Jonathan Album. You see here, consumer goods inside the industry. Okay. Job function, marketing. Okay. So in a second, we'll go to the profiles of mentors. I just want to make sure that I finished showing all the options here. And again, if you finish with the consumer good filter, you want to choose another filter from here or from here, do a reset, and again, do the same exercise to only get relevant. Don't use two filters at the same time, because again, it's too limiting for the results. I think, yes, we'll stick with Jonathan. Just to show you, no. I need another example. Stefan. See? Yes, okay. So Stefan, for example, he came up in your search. You had 5 mentors. Now you need to go one by one to read more, to understand if they're relevant for you in general, despite all the filters, and see what's their availability. Okay, so that's the typical profile of a mentor. That's what he or she chose to share. Okay, if they connected with LinkedIn, like we advise, that some of the information is taken from LinkedIn. If you want to make sure that a mentor works in a specific company, you always check their LinkedIn account. The conversation and the relationship stays here inside the Gvahim network, but you double check in LinkedIn, because maybe this profile is not updated and the mentor is no longer works there where it says, and he moved on to a different company, and maybe now it's not relevant, or on contrary, even more relevant. But still, the LinkedIn profile can be more updated than the Gvahim network profile. Again, unless the mentor follows our guidelines and updates the profile. Okay, so I continue. Wanted to choose maybe Mikhail. Okay, so we'll choose another mentor, because I want to show how you contact the mentor, and we don't have a lot of time, so let's continue. So that's the profile of the mentor. Again, you checked he's actually in this company that's relevant for you, in the same profession. By the way, people change professions as well. It happens. If they changed profession just recently, you can still contact them. But if they were product managers 10 years ago, then maybe it's not relevant anymore for you. So look someone with more updated experience. So okay, you made sure, and you think you want to check Mikhail, or maybe you want to contact him as a mentor. Okay, so a few ways to do this. Okay, I'll start from here, from the networking. Maybe you participated in a lecture about networking, how to use the Gvahim network for networking by my colleague Limor. If not, then look for this lecture, definitely participate. But these blue sections, willing to help and seeking help, are relevant for networking. So anyone can have those in their profile. It's not mentorship. It's just a way of the person to show how he can help the community, okay? Or how the community can help him. So Mikhail, in this case, willing to help with introduction to connections, provide service, business opportunities, become a Gvahim volunteer. He chose it when he created the profile. When you created one, you also had those sections, and that's what he chose. If you want any of this help, not a mentorship, but general help, you send the request help, And he also gets a notification about it, but he knows it's not a mentorship. It could be relevant if, for example, you find out that the mentor is unavailable for mentorship, and you decide to use at least this option to maybe have one-time help. This is one-time help. Michael is also open to receiving help from the community. He would be happy to get introductions to connections and business opportunities, maybe from other mentors, maybe from alumni that we have. But if you think that you can help him, click here. Okay. The relevant section, the mentorship section, is this purple one, offering support. He's available for mentoring a new participant, and this button of the request is active, meaning that he's open for mentorship. He's not mentoring anyone else now. Usually mentors take one mentee each time. If they start a relationship, this button will become inactive. So others won't be able, will see it and understand that the mentor is occupied and he's unavailable. In this case, he's available. So we'll click on it and we see the screen with options. Here at the top, you choose mentoring a new participant. Here you add your personal message with some details about yourself, about the kind of help you would be happy to get. And of course, you say specifically that you would like Michael as your mentor, because he also gets it to his email. He needs to understand exactly what's your intentions. So of course, I'm not going to send it, but if you just want to check if Michael is a relevant mentor for you, okay, maybe just have a first meeting and only then decide if you want to ask him to become a mentor. You can just send him a message here, request help, or a general message, and ask for a meeting or a phone call. Again, say a few words about yourself, that you are looking for a job, you're a Gvahim participant. If he gets this message, he already knows that he received it from the Gvahim network. So he knows that you're not strange to Gvahim, you're a Gvahim participant. And if you're participate in the program, means you're looking for a job. But the message, again, is not committing. It's just a way maybe to start a conversation. Or again, you can choose other ways to start the engagement and only then move on to the mentorship. This is the most explicit way. Request support, he knows you want him as his mentor. Okay. So that's about the profiles of the mentors. Where all these requests go. For example, you sent a request. How can you see it? Where do you see it? It's not a message, meaning it's not going to be in your messages. It's going to be on another section of the Gvahim network called supportive relationships. Again, I define my profile as a mentor. That's why I see it differently. Maybe you'll see it differently as actual participants. So what we did with my colleague, Limor, she sent me a mentorship request. I accepted it. And now on the Gvahim network, it shows that I'm mentoring Limor, okay, just for the demonstration purposes. You see it as sent requests, and the mentor sees it as accepted, or like request that he received. And now for each request, he needs to decide if he's going to accept or deny it, okay? It could be dependent on several variables. For example, if the mentor is available, if he thinks there's a good match, if he really thinks that he can help, so he will accept it. And of course, if he's available. If not, he'll deny it, and then you'll get notification that your request was denied. You can move on. That's the best scenario. That's something that allows you to actually move on. A lot of times, I wanted to mention it at the end, I'll mention it now. What happens is you send requests and the mentors are not approving, not accepting, not responding. You send messages, you get nothing from the mentor. And in this case, you contact me with names. That's what's important, because again, I can't see your actions on the Gvahim network. So I need to get the names and help you with specific mentors. I have a list of mentors that are not responding, and we're going to clean the lists and remove those mentors. So maybe you specifically sent a request to this mentor and I know he's not responding. So at least I can let you know, okay, just move on. Forget about this mentor, go on to the next mentor on your list. If I know that the mentor is usually responsive, you send him mentorship request, a message, enough time passed, and you don't hear anything back, then of course I'll help. What I usually do is I'm not sharing the contacts, but I'm trying to personally contact the mentor by email, by phone call, just to understand what's happening, if they're available, if they're unavailable, maybe they're just abroad and they didn't get to it, or I don't know, they saw it but forgot to reply. So I do this like backend actions to check what's happening, but I need to know the names. And I need to know if they haven't replied. If someone denied your request, it's still a reply. It just means that this mentor is unavailable. So you know that you can move on. If someone is not answering at all, then I need to know about this. So you see all the requests you sent here in the supportive relationships. That's one that Limor sent me. That's the message. I can exchange messages here and see all the string of messages. We can schedule video calls about mentorship, schedule next meetings about the mentorship, etc. An important note, you cannot send too much requests because then the platform blocks you. So don't send 10 at the same time, send it one by one. I know it's a long process, but once you start it, it kind of goes and rolls. So don't get to the situation that you're blocked and you cannot send more requests, okay? Because that's something that we cannot fix. It happens when someone sends a lot of requests at the same time. Okay, I'll address the questions in the chat. Okay. I see, okay, Jacob, I see some employers, HR, show up in the mentor search. How does it benefit us when it's HR job to filter out candidates? We have a few HRs. They also have sometimes they're mentors, but also HR and also employers. We added them in the past when we also had a special path for employers. Right now, we are not adding employers to the Gvahim network. So it's not a benefit. It's not a disadvantage. It's just their affiliation. If they have the affiliation of mentors, you can contact them as regular mentors. Okay. Lily asked, you know, if our mentor will have a message to email. Yes, like I said, yes, they also get email notifications. What happens sometimes, and here's miscommunication is created. I told you the profile needs to be updated manually by the mentor. Okay? Let's assume that the mentor joined 5 years ago. He or she worked at a certain company, and to the profile they added the company email. Right now they're working for a different company and they don't get messages, notifications from the previous email that they have on the Gvahim network. Maybe they forgot about the Gvahim network, they're not checking it. They can always log in and check all the messages, but if they're not getting notifications and it happened a long time ago, they just forgot about it, okay? So in this case, when you send me the name of the mentor and I see that their email is incorrect, I first of all can reach out to them, update their email, make sure that they see notifications. It happened to us recently with one of the mentors. For years, he didn't see our notifications, so he thought something happened, that we're not happy with him, but actually he just had his old email from previous company on the Gvahim network, and all the notifications went there. And he forgot how he connected, so he just didn't check. So in this case, of course, I can help. But if the email is updated and the mentor is supposed to see notifications, then they see it, of course. Okay, Darren asks if there's only mentions and some are not responsive, then perhaps it would be better to find people that are not mentors and ask them if you can help in ways similar. as I said, you can use all the connections here in the Gvahim network. The mentor is for a specific process of a longer process, like a long-term process of actually mentoring you in this professional field. But connections you can have as much as you want. Sometimes a connection that is coming from an alumni or alumna could help even more than the mentorship connection. So that's relevant if they work in the company you're interested in. Just contacting someone who is a product manager and also an alumnus, I don't know how beneficial it is. You can try, but alumni, they're not expecting someone to contact them. You know, they did it, they haven't volunteered to be buddies. Only if they're buddies, then yes, they expect you to contact them. And we always add new mentors. It's a process. So no list, no database will be accurate 100%. There's always going to be people that are going to be unresponsive or will become unresponsive. So it's a daily maintenance task for us. So we talked about the matching place, it's the Gvahim network. And the next slide will address the management of the relationship. As I said, we'll also discuss this. Mentors expect you to be proactive. They expect you to be the one scheduling the calls. They're not going to run after you. They're not going to check upon you. If, for example, they gave you like a small assignment or something that they thought is relevant for your strategy, for your job search. For example, they gave you for the next meeting to find a list of 5 companies relevant for you. Then they expect you for the next meeting to bring this list. Okay? It's not too much, it's not homework, it's not interview, it's not home assignment, but it's something that the mentor requested. So they expect you to follow their requests because, again, that's how they see that their help is needed, that they're being beneficial, and it gives them more motivation to help you and continue, you know, mentoring you. So yes, you are the ones that are proactive. Don't wait for the mentors to schedule the meetings. That's something that you do at the end of the meeting. Usually the meetings are set like once a week. It's a good pace. Once every 2 weeks if there's holidays, summers, or busy times for the mentors. So you can plan ahead and schedule the meetings. And again, that's something that they expect. I wanted to speak about scenarios. We discussed a few of them, like what's happening if you don't get any responses. Then of course you contact me with names, because again, if you say I contact mentors and no one responds to me, what should I do next? I have nothing to do with this information. Already send me names. I contacted 3 mentors, none of them replied. Can you help? Can you please help? And then, of course, I can start acting. Sometimes it happens that the mentor was available when you started the mentorship. Suddenly something happened, something personal, something professional, I don't know, and he's not available anymore. Okay, of course, he notifies you, apologizes, but actually, like, you just started and now you're left without a mentor. Of course, you can search for a new mentor. Please update me as well. In case that you started a mentorship, I also need to be updated. In case that you finish the mentorship, I need to be updated. The mentorship can end on its own, naturally, or when you find a job. Once you found a job, then it means that the mentorship has ended. Next slide will address this. Like, you can thank the mentor, maybe post about it on LinkedIn and thank the mentor there as well, and update us, of course. Sometimes we see that someone found a job, and that's how I know that also the mentorship ended, but still you need to update the mentor to make it a little bit more formal. That's not like a worst scenario, but it's just like a way of managing this relationship. So if the mentor is unavailable and you still need support, you can start looking for another mentor. What else can go wrong? Mainly it's mentors that are not responding, and it happens even with the most responsive mentors. I contact them, they say, yes, I saw it, I was just busy at work. so no worries. And now, of course, maybe you heard this in other lectures, the 3 last weeks of August, 2 last weeks of August, going to be a little bit tough because, again, people are with kids. Our mentors usually have kids. So things are slower also for them at work, but also for volunteering. Then the holiday season comes in September. Also another, we need to take it into consideration and understand that maybe it will take them more time to reply, send a reminder. If you send a mentorship request, a few days past, send a message to remind them about the request, see if it helps. And in general, for the relationship or for any process you're having, just follow up, update, and show gratitude for the mentors. Again, that's the only reward that they get from this help. Following up is meaning like if they suggested something, then show that you're trying to apply it. Update if you find a job, if you have an interview or something is happening, they would be happy to hear every update. Okay? You choose the channel of communication, and then you follow this channel and you send updates even in between the meetings. Of course, show gratitude. It's always nice. Not necessarily on LinkedIn, but just to thank the mentor if you found a job with their help, without their help, in general, just to let them know, of course, that the process is over. Of course, you can contact me also after the lecture if you feel more comfortable. You can send me a message on the Gvahim network. Of course, send me by email. Very easy. It's just Isabella@gvahim.org.il. Great. So that was my part, my announcement, my small opportunity. And it was great being here this morning. I wish you lots of good luck with job search, with the program, with everything. And that's it.